call tonight's council meeting to order. Roll call, please.
Council members Brown.
Here.
Costello.
Here.
Jameson.
Here.
Knutson.
Here.
Litz.
Here.
Staggers.
Present.
Anderson. Benega.
Here. We have a quorum present for tonight's meeting. Tonight will be led in the invocation by Reverend Timothy Fountain from Good Shepherd Episcopal Church here in Sioux Falls. After the invocation, we'll have the Pledge of Allegiance. So at this time, I ask everyone to please rise.
Gracious God, we give you thanks this week for the veterans of military service. We pray for those still in the service from our community and for their families. We give you thanks for our civilian form of government in which nothing is hereditary, but all is offered voluntarily, subject to the vote and will of all of the people. So we thank you for our mayor and our city council and all those who've put themselves forward sacrificially to serve. And we thank you for all those who sacrifice time and energy to come to the meeting tonight, to be heard, to see to the good of this city. And most of all, we ask your blessing on this meeting, that your Spirit may guide it, that all that goes forward may be to the good of all who live here. And we pray in your holy name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Okay, tonight I'd just like to recognize we have Boy Scout Troop number 16 from Messiah New Hope here in Sioux Falls, so welcome to tonight's meeting. Now, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I so move Knutson.
Knutson moves. Is there a second?
Second, Litz.
Let's second it. Further comments for the motion? Seeing none, all in favor, vote yes. To approve, vote no. To oppose.
Council members Brown.
Yes.
Costello.
Yes.
Jameson.
Yes.
Knutson.
Yes.
Litz.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Benega.
Yes. All members present have voted. The consent agenda is approved 7 yes, 1 excused. Is there a motion to approve the regular agenda?
So moved, Costello.
Costello moves. Is there a second?
Second, Brown.
Brown seconds. Further motions? I see none, so all in favor of approving the regular agenda will vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Council members Brown.
Yes.
Costello.
Yes.
Jameson.
Yes.
Knutson.
Yes.
Litz.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Benega.
Yes. All members present have voted. The regular agenda has been approved 7 yes, 1 excused. Now is the time that we set aside a period of 5 minutes for anyone wishing to address the council for public input. We just ask that you give your name. So anyone wishing to address the council at this time, come forward, please. I see no one coming forward, so we will move into the regular agenda. Item number 2.
Second reading and ordinance of the city of Second reading and ordinance of the city of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, approving the release of a portion of the permanent utility easement in lots 4, 5, 6, and 7, Block 2, Whispering Woods Addition, Lincoln County, South Dakota.
Good evening, Chad Heavey with the Engineering Division of Public Works. This permanent utility easement is in the Whispering Woods addition, east of Southeastern Avenue and south of 57th Street. It was granted to the City of Sioux Falls for the construction and maintenance of utilities next to the public right-of-way. JSA Engineers and Land Surveyors, as an agent of the owner, has requested that a portion of this easement be released. A new easement will be granted by a future replat of this area. Engineering supports the release of this easement.
Questions of Chad on item number 2. Others that wish to address the council on item number 2? Not. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved, Benninga.
Benninga moves. Is there a second?
Second, Litz.
Litz seconded. Further comments on the motion to approve? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion to approve, vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilors Brown.
Yes.
Costello.
Yes.
Jameson.
Yes.
Knutson.
Yes.
Litz.
Yes.
Staggers.
Yes.
Benega.
Yes. All members present have voted. Item 2 has been approved 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 3.
First reading and ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, amending the revised ordinances of Sioux Falls, South Dakota by adding a Chapter 44 to be entitled Cable Service Regulatory Ordinance.
Good evening. My name is Karen Leonard. I'm an assistant city attorney.
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor, I need to excuse myself.
Okay, it'll be noted that Councilmember Brown will be excused from item number 3.
The ordinance that is being considered by you is to add Chapter 44, the Cable Service Regulatory Ordinance, to the revised ordinances of the city. It requires any business which operates a cable system to obtain a franchise from the city before operating such cable system. The current ordinance was specific to both Mid-Continent, and it served as both the ordinance and franchise document for Mid-Continent. Therefore, this ordinance is a general regulatory ordinance that provides for uniform rules and guidelines for cable operators, such as having an application process, conditions for use of our right-of-ways, a flexible build-out requirement found in Section 4443. It allows the municipality to collect a franchise fee of up to 5% of the cable operator's gross revenue. It has emergency alert system regulations, PEG access channel requirements, and cable service to public buildings. We presented a detailed presentation to you at the October 26th informational meeting, and last week we sent out a follow-up memorandum to address some of your questions. At this time, that's all I had on that.
Questions? Karen, go ahead.
Yes, Karen.
Yeah.
With the build-out provision in the ordinance, let's suppose that we would have a company coming in today that wants to take part in cable service here in Sioux Falls. Approximately how much money would that cost them to do that by requiring a build-out?
I can look up, I don't know if I have that answer for you, and I think each company may have different financial requirements, but I don't know that answer at this time.
I guess my concern is that it would be very prohibitive to do it within 5 years. And so I guess I'm concerned that this 5-year build-out is an illusion of competition when I'm not aware of any company that would want to take a risk like this and do it in 5 years and spend an enormous amount of money in the process. So I'm concerned that this is not really a provision for competition.
Well, what we tried to draft, and we really studied this issue in great depth, we found that an average build-out ranged anywhere between 3 to 10 years, and based on the size of our municipality, we came back with a recommendation of 5 years, but it also has very flexible benchmarks added to it. And so we don't, the FCC rules allow us to have a reasonable build-out period of time, and the FCC guidelines also said that it's reasonable for a municipality to establish benchmarks, which is what we've done here. And certainly that we articulated all of the exceptions directly into the ordinance so that there wouldn't be any confusion, because clearly it could take more than 5 years, it could even take more than 10 years to build out based on some of the reasons that are allowed as an exception in this ordinance. If they don't have the technical ability to get into an area, then they're not required to build out. If they don't have the subscribership in their current area and they haven't achieved their market success in their current area, then they're not required to build out. So I think it's not a 5-year build out in my mind, and I don't think the committee looks at it as a 5-year build out. We set benchmarks to have it done in an ideal world, but I certainly think that there's A through J exceptions in the ordinance that allow.
Am I correct in my understanding that the FCC also says that we don't even have to have a build-out requirement?
It is not required to have a build-out requirement, but that was the very first issue we studied, and as a threshold, we had to decide whether to recommend a build-out or not. And based on our advice that we got from our consultant, we felt that we would recommend having a build-out requirement, giving some level playing field issues, redlining issues, and we asked specifically of our consultant what the most defensible legal position to take, and we were advised to recommend a build-out provision for those legal reasons.
But also, if I could continue, it would seem like that to provide for greater competition, not to have all these regulations and rules and restrictions would be the best way to promote competition, because it seems to me that the more regulations, the more rules and all this we have, then it's inherently not creating a non-competitive situation. And so, once again, I guess I'm saying our consultant maybe might be wrong on this when it comes to competition, economic competition.
If any of us want to address this any further, I think that when we studied the issue, even in the communities that did not have a build-out requirement, still had challenges. It wasn't promoting competition when there wasn't regulation done. We looked at the status quo also currently, where it was upon request a business could build out. We didn't see that businesses were building out. And so it was our best recommendation and our best advice to you is to have a build-out requirement. And it certainly is permissible under the FCC rules to have that requirement.
Further questions? Let's move to 4.
First reading, an ordinance approving the cable system franchise renewal agreement between Mid-Continent Communications and the City of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, along with authorizing the mayor to sign the same.
Again, Karen Leonard, Assistant City Attorney. The ordinance that is being considered by you tonight is an ordinance approving the cable system franchise renewal agreement between Mid-Continent Communication and the City of Sioux Falls. The current franchise term with Mid-Continent expires December 29th of 2009, and under federal law, the city had 3 years prior to that termination to negotiate a renewal franchise agreement. Tonight, that agreement is before you. We have been negotiating this agreement since 2006. This is a 10-year agreement with the option for a 5-year renewal. It specifically recommends that Mid-Continent pay a 2.5% franchise fee, of which 0.5% will be dedicated as a community grant. It incorporates the ordinance directly into the ordinance. It also allows the city over the course of the next 10 or 15 years to request 2 additional PEG channels if the city can demonstrate need. And if this agreement is adopted, it would repeal the old Ordinance 109-04 upon the effective date of this renewal agreement.
Questions? Let's go to 5.
First reading, an ordinance of the City of Sioux Falls amending the revised ordinances of the city by revising Chapter 18, Garbage and Recycling.
Dave McElroy, Landfill Superintendent. And for members of the viewing public, at 4 o'clock informational today, we did a detailed PowerPoint presentation on this matter, on the Chapter 18 ordinance changes. So I'll just kind of go through, highlight. Basically, these changes were recommended by the Solid Waste Planning Board, which is made up of representatives of the recycling and hauler industry, the citizens of Sioux Falls, 5-county region. We serve the 5-county area of Lake, Lincoln, McCook, Minnehaha, and Turner County, and then, of course, Public Works staff. Basically, we have a service population of that 5-county region of approximately 225,000 people. So we're hoping to tighten up, put more of emphasis on recycling. The highlight of the proposed amendments are create a rebate program that will reward increased recycling efforts, require twice a month collection of recyclable materials, which is up from the current once a month, allow for the adoption of administrative rules, which will allow us to provide additional clarity on a number of garbage recycling issues, clean up the Chapter 18 definitions and staff titles where we refer to the recycling coordinator. We now have a sustainability coordinator in place of the recycling coordinator. And another example would be the definition of chipboard. Not only can we recycle corrugated cardboard, but we can also recycle chipboard, like your pop containers, cereal boxes, those kinds of things. So we've added that to the definition of required recyclables. That's basically it. If anybody has any questions.
Questions of Dave? Go ahead.
A question regarding the twice a month. From a practical standpoint, I was wondering really if that is still adequate. And the reason I say that is I'm very fortunate that I use a hauler that already picks up our recyclables, twice a month. But there are only 2 people at our house, and my recyclable container is almost full at the end of 2 weeks. In fact, it's usually quite full by the end of 2 weeks. And so, it just seems to me with a family, regular family with several children and so forth, it just seems to me that they must be running out of recycling space way before the hauler gets back to their home.
Sure, and we looked at increase. We looked at once a week. The haulers thought that would be excessive. I guess how I combat that at my home, and I have a family of 4 and small children, and I have the smallest garbage container you can get, and I've got the largest recycling bin that I know of. So my recycling bin is twice as large as my garbage container, if not almost 3 times as large. So.
Further questions, Kermit?
Well, talking about twice a month, I mean, I guess I'm inclined to think that the garbage hauler should be making that decision, whether they want to do it once, twice, 3, 4 times, 7 times a month, whatever.
Yeah,
What
this
is
is
so
not
sacred about twice a month?
this is not a burden to the haulers. The haulers are already doing this.
So why are we
this
putting it
is,
in an ordinance?
to require, to increase, I mean, we're trying to increase our recycling efforts to extend the life of the landfill. It's something that the public has called for. You might hear from members of the Green Project later, but the public has kind of called for this. We've heard calls for increased recycling, requiring it more often. We've had people who have wanted to do it weekly, which would be a huge burden. There were maybe 1 or 2 haulers that were only doing it once a month, and those guys are on board with this twice-a-month requirement.
Yeah, but since we're doing it already, I guess I think it's just unnecessary to put this in the ordinance. But also, at the 4 o'clock meeting, we were talking about these administrative rules that you want to be able to do now. Can you give us some examples of administrative rules that you would like to do?
Sure. Like I said, this is not a new topic. Administrative rules are currently in existence for the city. Chapter 41, the sewer ordinance, there are administrative rules that deal with the liquid waste generator program and licensing of liquid waste haulers. So this would allow us to establish clearer guidelines. Right now, as you all are aware, the ordinance says we can pull a hauler's license for not meeting our recycling goal. This administrative rules will allow us to drill down and be a little more detailed. I think pulling somebody's license, putting them out of business, is a little excessive. So this will allow us to establish clear guidelines and allow those haulers to participate in that program. There'll be a 30-day public notice and ample opportunity for public input.
Yeah, because it's also a possibility just to start having more control at a deeper level, as you would say. And
No, administrative rules really only allow us to implement ordinance.
yes, so I guess I'm
It
wondering.
tells us how to implement
I mean,
the ordinance.
that's implicit in any ordinance that we pass. We do not provide every little detail, and so I'm still a little skeptical
Right,
here.
but the
why you want
Solid
this.
Waste Planning Board has indicated that additional details are needed and that additional clarification is needed. So the Solid Waste Planning Board does want administrative rules to
Well, I'm
be
sure
able to
they
clarify
would,
that.
because that means more power for them.
Further questions? Not, why don't we do this? Why don't we take items number 3 and 4 first for the second reading, November 16th, so Councilmember Brown can be excused from that vote, and then we'll come back and take item 5 separately. So,
Move to set the hearing date for 3 and 4 for November 16th.
motion been made to set the hearing date by Costello. Is there a second?
I second that, Knutson.
Second. Further comments on the motion to set the hearing date for the second reading? Not all in favor of setting the hearing date will vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilors Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
All members present have voted. Items 3 and 4 have been approved, 6 yes and 2 excused. The hearing date is November 16th. Now we're at item 95. Item number 5, set the hearing date for November 16th. Their motion?
So move, Costello.
Costello moves. Is there a second?
Second.
Litz seconded. Further comments on that motion? All in favor of the motion to set the hearing date for November 16th for item 5, vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilors Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
All members present have voted. Hearing date has been set for item number 5 for November 16th, 7 yes and 1 excused. Item number 6.
Deferred action from meeting of October 13, 2009, a resolution vacating a portion of the intersection of South West Wind Avenue and East Woods Edge Street as shown on Exhibit A.
This right-of-way is improved and is in the Whispering Woods addition, east of Southeastern Avenue and south of 57th Street. If the right-of-way is vacated, a utility easement will not be maintained. That easement was vacated or released in item 2 tonight. The petitioner plans to replat these 3 lots and incorporate the vacated right-of-way with these lots, and engineering recommends approval.
Questions of Chad on item number 6? Others that wish to address the council on item number 6? If not, is there a motion?
So moved.
Costello moves. Is there a second?
Second, Benninga.
Benega seconds. Further comments on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion to approve item number 6, vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilors Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
All members present have voted. Item 6 has been approved, 7 yes, 1 excused. Item 7.
Deferred action from meeting of October 13, 2009, a resolution vacating West 8th Street from North Holly Avenue east to the west property lines of Lot 1B, Block 5, and Lot 1B, Block 6, Inglewood Lake Addition.
This portion of A Street is unimproved and is between Kiwanis Avenue and Western Avenue. If the right-of-way is vacated, a utility easement will not be maintained. The petitioner plans to build an apartment building on this site. Engineering recommends approval.
Questions of Chad on item number 7? Others that wish to address the council on item number 7? Not, is there a motion to approve?
So
I-
moved, Litz.
I second that motion,
Lutz
Knutson.
made the motion. Knutson seconded the motion. All in favor of approving item number 7? Vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilors Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
All members present have voted. Item 7 has been approved, 7 yes, 1 excused. Item number 8.
A resolution declaring the necessity to adopt the cost recovery role for water main improvements constructed on North Hillcrest Avenue from East 54th Street North to East 57th Street North, and assessing the cost for the improvements to each lot or tract of land benefiting thereby.
This portion of Hillcrest Avenue is in the northeast portion of the city. It is bordered on the west by Cliff Avenue, on the east by I-229, on the north by 60th Street North, and on the south by Benson Road. In 2004, T&R Contracting, who owns land that abuts Hillcrest Avenue, financed and installed an 8-inch water main from 57th Street North, approximately 850 feet to the south. In 2008, the city came in and constructed this portion of Hillcrest Avenue from a gravel road to an urban section. During that project, we connected to the existing water main that T&R put in and then extended it south to 54th Street North. The water main installed in 2008 was assessed to the abutting properties earlier this year. The resolution tonight will approve a private cost recovery for T&R Contracting to recover their costs from the 16 properties if these properties connect into the water distribution system that T&R installed. The cost recovery is calculated on a front-foot basis and ranges from $1,168.52 to $1,294.85.
Questions? Go ahead.
Chad, just to clarify, there's no requirement then for these property owners to hook up within 5 years or 10 years? It's totally at their discretion, is that right?
Correct. This is a cost recovery, and if they deem it necessary in the future to obtain water service from that line, they hook into it. When they come to get a permit, that's our trigger to give them notice of this.
Further questions? Others that wish to address the council on item number 8? Not, is there a motion to approve?
So moved, Litz.
Let's move. Is there a second?
Second, Costello.
Costello seconds. Further comments? Seeing none, so all in favor of the motion to approve number 8, vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilors Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
All members present have voted. Item 8 has been approved, 7 yes, 1 excused. Item number 9.
A resolution amending the 2009-2013 capital program to add a walk-in freezer and electronic ticketing system.
Frank Vandekamp, Sioux Falls Police Department, Captain. The two items here, one is, again, is the $28,000 for the freezer, which will be an evidence storage freezer, which will be installed into the Gray Bar building. Currently, we have one walk-in freezer that's at the Law Enforcement Center. When we built that building, that was installed there. We have a number of chest freezers that are currently serving our purpose but not doing so well. This would use grant funding to install that freezer in that property. And the other is the automated ticket writing system that all the patrol cars, marked cars will have that allow them to swipe the licenses and ticket the violators.
Questions? Go ahead, Bob.
Just kind of a morbid sense of curiosity. What type of evidence would you typically keep in a freezer?
Stuff that you don't want thawing. We have a number of rape kits that are in there. We do have evidence. Most of it is fluids, body fluids that we'd like to keep froze so we don't degenerate for DNA purposes later on.
Thank you.
You asked.
Yeah, I know. Just curious there. And then the other part here now, let's say I'm driving down the street, my plates are expired, the officer could pull me over, take my license, swipe it, and then I would get the ticket electronically right there, or how does that?
Yeah, my understanding is it's very similar. A lot of states already, a lot of agencies already have this in place. When they swipe your license, it actually will check your license against NCIC warrants. It'll also tell if your license is valid or not. Then as you fill in the violations, it'll actually print a citation, kind of like the parking tickets you get currently, where it's just a little printed thing that you'll actually be able to read.
It's getting smacking a big brother here. Would it also take my master charge to pay for the ticket there?
I like your idea.
Okay. I was serious about it.
No, we don't take payment. No, not a good idea.
But it does speed up what they're doing, so it really helps. Other questions? Others who wish to address the council on item number 9? Not? Is there
Move for approval, Benninger.
Benninger moves. Is there a second?
Second.
Jamison seconded. Further comments on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion to approve item number 9 will vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilors Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
All members present voted. Item number 9 has been approved 7 yes and 1 excused. Item 10.
A resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement between the City of Sioux Falls and the City of Harrisburg for utilization of the wastewater collection and treatment facility of Sioux Falls.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Mark Cotter, the Director of Public Works. Based on our conversation and presentation earlier at the informational meeting, we would request a deferral until 1 week, November 16th, and we will convene the IRAB board to discuss the Harrisburg contract.
Is that a motion?
I so move Knutson.
Second.
Knutson made a motion to defer until November 16th, seconded by Costello. Further comments on the motion to defer until November 16th? All in favor of that motion to defer until November 16th? Vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilors Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
All members present have voted. Item 10 has been deferred until November 16th, 7 yes and 1 excused. Is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Costello moved. Let's second. All in favor of adjournment? Vote yes. Those opposed, no.
Councilors Brown?
Yes.
Costello?
Yes.
Jameson?
Yes.
Knutson?
Yes.
Litz?
Yes.
Staggers?
Yes.
Benega?
Yes.
We stand adjourned.